Hi, welcome to the gallery. I'm Christian Garnett, and I am joined by Kat Cuseo, this month's featured gallery artist. Kat will be in our gallery until the end of December 2022. So please come and see her art. It's great. And now, Kat, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
It's great. Great to hear. Obviously, we are here today to talk about your art. And this is just a small selection of the stuff that we have out here throughout the entire, throughout our gallery. But obviously, we're talking about these pieces today. So you are definitely a mixed media artist.
Yes.
Could you tell me what you work with? And feel free to use these as examples.
So I do mostly these days, I do a combination of watercolor paintings, and then I do laser cut pieces, mostly with wood. So I will do these large scale pieces, as well as earrings, necklaces, different like accessories, pins, stuff like that. So kind of a combination of wearable art and art that you can hang on your wall.
I'm a big fan. How did you get your start with art?
I've been creating since I can remember. So I've always enjoyed making art since I was a little kid. In high school, I ended up taking, art classes in school as well as like private classes outside of school. And that's when I decided, that art was what I wanted to go into as like a career, profession, whatnot. So that's kind of my beginnings of getting into art.
Got it. So you've been into arts for a very long time,
Yes.
Obviously. But what are some of your inspirations?
So a lot of my paintings are like this one, based on, characters from books, movies, TV shows.
Pop culture.
Pop culture, yeah. What got me kind of back into creating after I graduated from college was actually going to Boston Comic-Con for the first time and seeing all of the artists, making and selling their own prints, and that was what made me kind of like get back into painting. So there were a couple years after I graduated where I was just doing my job. I wasn't really like making art for myself anymore.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the catalyst. So like a lot of artists who go and sell their stuff at Comic-Con, like a lot of the art is based off of pop culture. So that's where that inspiration came from. And then over the years, like my inspirations have kind of shifted a little bit more to more kind of, nature. We have like the kind of landscapes down here. I do a lot with like myths and legends, and then kind of magic-based things. Like I'm very interested in like, tarot cards and stuff like that. So that's kind of where a lot of my inspiration comes from these days.
I've definitely noticed that with your art. It's very supernatural, but it's also kind of cozy.
Yes.
Yeah. Could you give me a deeper explanation of your woodworking process?
Okay, yeah. So for the jewelry and the larger pieces here, a couple years ago, I got really into the idea of creating kind of more wearable art. And I was struggling to figure out a way to kind of make it easier to make it more replicable. To be able to repeat the patterns.
Right.
So I ended up kind of using a laser cutter at a makerspace up in Boston and realized that it was something that I was really interested in kind of diving deeper into. So I got my own laser cutter, which was really exciting. And yeah, so I usually sketch out my designs like either in a sketchbook or on my iPad first. And then I go in and, refine the designs digitally. And then when, once the digital design is created, then I can go in and, program my laser to engrave the design and then cut out the shape. And then for things like this large piece here, and even some of the jewelry here, I then go back in after it's been engraved and paint in the details by hand. So it's still handmade. It still has kind of more, it's still my designs, and has a lot of time and attention to detail put in there. But it's an easier way to be able to make things over and over again, as opposed to just making one piece and then making something completely different.
Yeah.
So it becomes more cost efficient in terms of like I can sell things for a more reasonable price, in terms of sometimes one of a kind jewelry is like hundreds of dollars. So you get like a piece of metalsmith art or something like that. It's really expensive, and it limits how many people can enjoy that kind of art. So like I want to make it kind of more affordable for people to be able to, more people to be able to enjoy it. So I want to spread the joy.
Speaking of spreading the joy, you mentioned before we started this interview that you want to expand into some other wooden products.
Yes.
What kind of stuff would you like to get into?
I think the main thing is more different types of jewelry. So I want to get into doing like wooden earring studs, as well as doing different types of necklaces and accessories like that. I've also been really interested in doing things like wooden bookmarks, or like more kind of like home good type things. I have one design that's an earring stand, so that you can hang your earrings on them, and I want to do more kind of designs like that. So like things that can like decor that has kind of a purpose. So like I have some coasters in my shop, but I want to kind of expand on that like a little bit more and do even more home decor type items as well.
Awesome. If somebody wants to see your art online,
yes,
where can they do that?
So my Instagram is Cuseo Art. I also have an Etsy shop. It's just Cuseo Art. And a Facebook page, I believe it's the same thing. And yeah, so those are like the main places that
to see
my
works.
art. Yes.
So a lot of your art comes from pop culture, as well as myths, of course. Is there any media that you haven't hit yet that you'd like to? For instance, here we have Harry Potter, and then you have works from like Game of Thrones and Doctor Who.
Yes.
Is there anything you'd like to tackle in the future that you haven't gotten to?
So I kind of have a running list of ideas as I watch new shows and movies and things like that. Lately, one of the things that I've been really wanting to paint is from the new Rings of Power show. There's also The Witcher, which would be a really fun thing to get into. Some of the new Marvel TV shows, Moon Knight, and maybe even like She-Hulk or something like that. I tend to consume a lot of shows and movies, so I'm always kind of writing down like new characters or ideas for paintings, or even like ideas for jewelry inspired by things. This past year, the show Our Flag Means Death came out and
I need to watch that one. That one looks really good.
went right to the top of my like top 3 favorite shows of all time.
And therefore, towards the top of your need to paint
Yes,
list.
yes, exactly. So like either doing like stickers or even kind of like some earring designs that are based on like characters or, you know, points of the like plot. Those are things that are kind of always adding to my list of like new ideas.
Yeah, I do something similar. Like whenever there's a character I want to draw, I have like a sheet.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I need to draw whatever character.
Yes,
I get that.
Yep.
So, Kat,
Yes.
thank you so much for being on the gallery and for being in our gallery. Once again, I do want to say that Kat Cuseo will be in our gallery until the end of December this year. And we are going to be having Kat's artist reception on Monday, November 21st from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. So if you're watching this before then, you should come see all of Kat's art in person. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So Kat, once again, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of The Gallery.